Good morning and welcome to all of our franchisees and all external attendees to today's NCI Compliance Workshop for July 2017. Presenting today's meeting will be Peter Forshaw, one of our directors here at the Cash Converters Southern Africa head office. In attendance is Engela van Loffrenberg, our Group Financial Manager for True Accounting and True North Holdings. Also attending the meeting will be Mzo Flanjwa, our Compliance Officer. He is the go-to person regarding any kind of NCR-related queries and questions that you may have. Now, please note that as this is a live webcast, there is about a 15 to 20-second delay between the actual video being broadcast from head office to you receiving it at your designated station where you're watching this. Please note that the live chat module is live. Should you have any questions and queries, you're welcome to post them. Engela will be moderating the live chat discussion and is available to answer any of your questions. To franchisees that have not attended a live hangout like this before, please do note that this is a DVR style presentation, meaning that you are able to stream back up to about 4 hours of this presentation. Not that we're going to be lasting 4 hours, not that it's going to be taking 4 hours, but you should be able to rewind and watch it live, pretty similar to what your DSTV PVR decoder is capable of doing to live television streams. Also note that the video will still be available afterwards for an undetermined amount of time thus far. Should you want to rewatch it or catch any highlights, you are quite welcome to do so by opening up the original link that you have been following, the one that you are currently live on. So you will be able to view the contents of the video thereafter. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Forshaw. We are still 5 minutes out before starting this. Any preliminary questions and such can be posted in the live chat. Thank you very much.
Kevin, really, well done. Amazing introduction. I think you deserve a round of applause. Well done, Kevin! Yay! Far better than I could have done. Okay, guys, everybody in the room here, just make sure you've got your pack of documents. I'm going to use Dave's here as an example. This pack here is the annual compliance update set of documents. Remember, we talk about the blue file. This needs to go into your blue file. This is effectively all the reference documentation and all the relevant schedules. This should be tailor-made for each store, so it should have your NCR number on it, your company registration number on it. So that goes into your file. The important document for today is the compliance report, the actual report we're going to work on and fill out and work through during the process of the workshop today. And the plan is at the end of the workshop, to give your completed and signed compliance report back to Mzo, who's got a control sheet, so he'll tick off everybody who's delivered theirs to him. He will then compile a list of everybody's compliance reports, and he will then put the attachments, the actual schedules that go to the NCR with the compliance report. So you don't have to take them out of your pack. That's just going to cause confusion. So rather keep your big pack completely intact. Okay, so let me just kick off. We're a little bit early, but I think we can. Is everyone happy to start? Let's go through it. So that's what we're going to achieve today is the compliance report completion and the checklist of the documentation to be submitted. That's really the nuts and bolts from today's session. Aubrey, I just want to give a quick overview of the annual reporting from a compliance perspective to the NCA. So the first thing we have to submit is what we call a Form 39. That's a statistical return. We then need to make sure we comply with conditions of registration in terms of Section 48. We need to submit our annual financial statements. We need to submit the annual financial and operational return. That's the Form 40, the compliance report, and the assurance report. But at this stage, we've done the statistical Form 39, and I'm assuming everybody here has completed and has submitted that. That should have been done in February of this year. Conditions of registration we have complied with. That's things like language policy, policies to combat over-indebtedness, and general compliance with the Act. So that we can tick and say we've done. The annual financial statements, I've ticked that they probably have not all been done. They should all be in the process of being completed at this particular point in time. The next thing you will do is the annual financial operational return, Form 40. It has to be done by your accounting officer. The compliance report is what we're doing today, and then the assurance report is the final report that needs to be done, and that will also be done by your accounting officer. So your accounting officer can only finish the assurance report based on the compliance report that you do, the Form 40, and the annual financial statements. Just to give you context of what still has to happen. And if we get all of that right, we would have complied with the requirements of the NCA. Just feedback from last year, post the submission of the compliance report, we had a couple of comebacks from the NCR. Most of those comebacks and issues were in the line of we filled in the wrong things, so some ticking the wrong box. There were a couple of issues around the certificates. So we had some comebacks on that, but they were all minor, and Mazur will deal with any of those comebacks. So if post the submission of the compliance report, you get any communication from the NCR, forward it all through to Mazur. He will then deal with it. 90% of the time, it's easily just procedural issues, and we just communicate with them accordingly. So not many issues on that side. Okay, so that's by way of feedback from last year. The difference, last year was the first year we started doing the BEE certificates, the creation thereof and the submission. Post this process, that's what Mazur will focus on. And remember, there are two types of certificates. It's under 20 million. Is it under 20 million, Mazur? Where we need an affidavit, purely an affidavit, and you get 10 million. Yeah. Annual turnover 10 million, you can do it by way of an affidavit, and you're automatically a level 4, I think it is.
We'll do that as well.
Yeah, and True Accounting will do that. We can do that internally, and that won't cost anything. But if your turnover is greater than 10 million rand, you are going to have to get an outside verification agent to do your certificate, and True Accounting will also assist with that. I can't remember what the cost is. There is a cost for that, unfortunately. And that certificate is going to, it'll effectively say that it effectively makes you compliant with the National Credit Act, but it effectively says you will be, for those businesses that are not, will be non-compliant with the BEE Act, because you will actually have you won't even be graded in terms of that verification. But from an NCA perspective, that's all that's required, is to actually have the certificate. The only thing that we haven't done, and this we discussed last year, in terms of BEE, is the progress report. So we're not going to submit that to the NCR on the basis that there are no guidelines. So the particular industry, the NCR industry that we fall under, being micro lenders, have given us no guidelines on what the progress required is. So from our perspective, we're going to remain silent on that. We have no idea of what progress needs to be made. There are no industry guidelines. Our decision has been not to report on that. And over the last 7 years, we've never ever had comeback with regards to that. So we'll continue to do that at this particular point in time. So those are the only issues. Okay, so let's look at the compliance report. The guidelines were issued in September 2010. The purpose of the report, and this is important for us to understand, is for management of the credit provider to confirm whether the credit provider has conducted its operations in accordance with, firstly, the Act, the regulations to the Act, the conditions of your registration, and it came into effect in 2011. We have to submit it within 6 months of year end. So that's when it became effective. So this, I think, is our sixth one we've done. So if you have a February 28 year end, and we'll say this year, February the 28th, 2017, this needs to be submitted by 31 August 2017. And guys, we're going to go as hard as possible to make sure we do the completion and the submission by the 31st of August. I don't think we've ever been late, so we would like to keep that up. So a lot has to happen between now and the 31st of August. Your financial statements need to be completed, and the assurance report. So that's really the focus of the action in the next, and it's only five weeks odd. So we have some pressure on. Okay, so everybody happy so far? Any questions? Any comments? Anybody want to add anything to that? Happy with the process? Cool. Now let's get to the actual compliance report. For those of you who haven't done it before, that report, would you give me one there? That's this piece of paper here. This is the guideline, and this is the document. So the first thing we need to do, in your pen, fill in the registered name of your company, your entity. So that's your legal entity's name, not Cash Converters Fourways, to be the legal entity. If you're not sure what it is, Angela's pointed out, it's on your pack, as well as your NCR CP number, which is also on your pack, and the reporting period being the 1st of March 2016 to the 28th of February 2017. Yes, Bason, can you guys see from there? Yeah. You don't need me to switch it on the side. You're okay. Seker. Then you do it from 1st of January to 31 December. You just check in. It's 1 January last year, 31 December last year. Sorry, for the cashier stores, that's 1 January 2016 to 31 December 2016. That's only for the cashier stores. Then we need to tick that we're a pawnbroker and we're a microlender. Those are the two boxes that we need to tick. Okay, give me a thumbs up, everybody. Everybody ready to roll? Who's not ready to move on? Okay.
Rock and roll.
Give me rock and roll. Right. Put on
By 10:30.
5 past 10.
25 minutes.
Clock's a bit wonky. Okay. Let's just go through the process again. We effectively have a whole range of questions, and then we have various options: yes, no, area for improvement, not applicable, and reference where there's an annexure. You will see on my PowerPoint presentation, there'll be stuff on this white side here. Just let me reaffirm, do not fill that in. That is just for our purposes. Don't fill that in. Okay, first question. We'll go through a couple of these and then we'll speed it up. Is the credit provider a bank, mutual bank, or other institution? Answer is clearly no, we're not.
Sorry, it was morning.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, just watch out for the wires. Sorry, Peter. Right, next question. Has any natural person who exercises general management or control of the credit provider, whether alone or with others, become disqualified from individual? Answer is no. That one is not applicable. That's 1.3 is not applicable. And for 1.3, there's an annexure number 1.1. So there'll be an annexure for every question where it's not applicable. We have to note that on an annexure, and that's on annexure 1.1. Okay, so far your piece of paper should look exactly the same as this. 1.4 is no. 1.4 is not applicable with a reference 1.2. Sorry, 1.5. 1.6, the answer is also no. And what this one, in fact, we don't need that any longer because we do. Sorry, we take this is the BEE question. Did the credit provider provide a report to the National Credit Regulator on the anniversary date of its registration detailing its compliance? No, we didn't, and we put that onto our management compliance report. If we did do it, then we need to submit CC NCA 003, which we haven't done. So the answer to that is no. 1.7 is yes. We have submitted the scorecards, because those will be done now. The scorecards will be submitted. 1.8 is also yes. That's the combating of over-indebtedness. Next page, 1.9. We attach Annexure 2. 1.10 is yes. 1. Okay, let me just stop right here and just go through this. What we've done here, does the credit provider have procedures in place to comply with the conditions of registration imposed by the National Credit Regulator in terms of Section 48? We do, and if you look through your pack, there's a section there with our procedures. It's CCNCA. I'll just show you this once. It's this one here. You look at this section of the pack. This is where all our procedures are. That list there. It's store lending procedures. Those procedures there. So what we've done is we've created a procedure, and where we've created a procedure, our answer is yes. I'm just refreshing us of what we've done. Those are all the procedures there that we make reference to. Just makes it simple. Remember, we want to say yes. We don't want to say no. We want to say yes. 1.11, the answer is no. 1.12, the answer is not applicable, and it's 1.3, reference 1.3 under annexure. 113 is yes. Sorry, I'm saying yes. This is very important, guys. Have we all paid our annual registration fees? In the compliance report, we're saying yes, we have. We have instances where franchisees have not paid their annual registration. Please make a note to self, if you haven't paid your annual registration fees, make sure you have, because if you haven't, you face deregistration. We've had franchisees deregistered, and then you have to go through the whole process of re-registering. I'm stating the obvious, but some stores have fallen foul of this. 1.14, we do have a procedure. A provider posts its registration certificate in every premises. We have a procedure for that. Likewise, for 1.15, we have a procedure. Right, in terms of the consumer rights, we do have a procedure for 2.1. That's procedure number 2. Question 2.2, yes, that's procedure number 3. 2.3, do we have procedures to respond to any request by a consumer in terms of section 62.1? Yes, we do. Okay, if you're happy, I'm just going to click no. That's yes. Procedure 5, yes. Procedure, in fact, that's form CCNCA 010. That's our language policy. If you ever get questions around the language policy, shoot them through to Mazor. Mazor will answer it on your behalf. Remember, there we do a bulk brand language proposal, which the NCR accepts. So we don't do it by store, we do it for the entire brand. 2.6 is yes, and that's the letter that we have from the NCR. 2.7, yes. We do not charge a fee for the delivery of any original documentation. Yes, we do have procedures for 2.9. Procedure number 6. Question 3.1, we do have a procedure, that's procedure 7. 3.2, yes, and procedure number 8. 3.3, likewise, that's procedure 9. 3.4, yes. Procedure number 10. 3.5, we also have that. Answer to that is yes, that's procedure number 12. Okay, so that page, all yeses and those respective procedures. Credit marketing practices, 4.1. We do not have agreements that automatically come into effect. We do not, this one is not applicable, and we list that on Annexure 1.4. And that's procedure number 13. Likewise, not applicable, listed as Annexure 1.5, and that's procedure 14. For those of you who've come in late, remember, we don't fill in any of these. This is just for our internal use and cross-referencing. 4.4 is not applicable. 1.6, procedure 15. 4.5 is yes, procedure 16. 4.6 is yes. 4.7 is yes. That's procedure 17. 4.8 is not applicable. Reference 1.7 under the annexure column. 4.9 is not applicable. 1.8. Yes, we have a procedure. Procedure 18. Not applicable, and we reference it to annexure number 1.8. Just remember, Mazur will submit that annexure on your behalf with your compliance report. Okay? Question 411. We do have procedures there, procedure 19. Likewise, we have a procedure 20 for 4.12. Likewise, for 413, procedure 21. Likewise, E22. Now, as a matter of interest, you will see on some of the new cash advance advertising, we've said no application forms required. You might have noticed that. We checked that and double checked it back to the app. And we're comfortable that that complies with it. So we act, when it comes to marketing, we're very careful of what we say. Okay, next page, happy? 415 is yes. Procedure 23. Yes, we do for 416, that's procedure 24. Right, now we get to the section of over-indebtedness and reckless credit. Yes, we do. And that will be attached as annexure 3. That's our policy to ensure we prevent reckless lending and over-indebtedness. If you want to see the references, it's annexure 3 and form 12 and 13. Those are our internal policies. 512. We have a procedure, that's procedure 25. 5.3 is procedure 26. Yes. Does a credit provider conduct monitoring staff members' compliance? Yes, we do. We have found none. Okay, yeah. I'm assuming you haven't found any staff non-compliance with the policies and procedures. Answer is no. Annexure 4 is for reference purposes only. You'll see that in your pack, but we don't submit that. Not applicable. Form 15 is not applicable. We don't do student loans, emergency loans, or public interest credit agreements. So that's not applicable, and we list that as 1.9 on the annexure 1. And we do have a procedure there, which is procedure 2017. Okay, next section is unlawful agreements and provisions. We have procedures in place, that's 28. 6.2, likewise, that's procedure 29. 6.3, we do not do this. This is the whole retention of ID and bank cards. Still prevalent in the credit market. 6.4, yes, and that's procedure number 30. 7.1, yes, we do. And we have a procedure 31 to make sure we comply with that. That is the pre-agreement statement. Not applicable 7.2 because we don't do intermediate or large credit agreements. So we list that as 1.1 on Annex 1. 7.4 is yes, and that's procedure 33. Not applicable, because that's large agreements. So we list that as 1.11 on Annexure 1. 7.6, we have a procedure, and that's procedure number 35. 7.7, yes we do, and 7.8 is not applicable, and we list it as 1.1. Sorry, 1.12. It's 1.12. Consumers liability, interest charges and fees. Section 101, yes, we do have procedures. It's procedure number 36. Yes, we do. No, there are no instances of non-compliance. 8.4 does not apply to us. That's section 102.1. So therefore, we list that as 1.13. That's also procedure 37. We do have a procedure in place. That's procedure 38. That applies to the daily interest calculation. 8.6. This is not applicable. The reason for that is we don't change our interest rates. They remain fixed. So we list that under Annexure 1.14. Regulation 40 is yes. And that's procedure 40. And as you know, this is the issue we now have with the interest calculation and the deferred balance. In terms of Regulation 40, we do it in terms of 40 in our opinion. Yes, we have a procedure in place to comply with 42, 43, and 44. It's procedure 41. We have a procedure for 8.9. That is the default charges. That's procedure number 42. Not applicable. This is the credit insurance. Remember, the only credit insurance charges on the 1, 2, 3, and in that situation, you're not the credit provider. So we don't charge credit life insurance. So that's not applicable, and we note that on 1.15. And we have a procedure 43 for that. 811 is not applicable. Same reason, 1.16, we don't do it. Likewise, not applicable, 1.17 for question 8.12, all in context of credit life. Procedure 45. Likewise, for 8.13, not applicable, 1.18, procedure 46. Right, debt enforcement by repossession or judgment, not applicable. We don't do this. Annexure 1.19, and we have a procedure 47 for that. 9.2, not applicable. 120, procedure 48. Likewise, not applicable. 1.21, procedure 49. This is all about repossession of goods. 9.4, we have a procedure in place. Those are the section 129 letters. That's what credit services will send out to the consumer. That's procedure 50. We have a procedure in place for that, procedure 51. We do have procedures in place for that, 52, notwithstanding the fact that we don't go to court on them. We have a procedure 53 in place for that. We have a procedure in place for 9.8 as well, procedure 54. As you can see, a lot of these are pretty easy. We have a procedure, even though we don't apply it. Likewise, 9.9, procedure 55, 9.10, not applicable, we list that as 1.22 on Annexure 1. We also have a procedure 56. Yes for 911, procedure 57. 912 is yes, procedure 58. Right, 913, we have a procedure 59 for that. And likewise for 914, we have a procedure 60 for that. It's all about debt enforcement. Thank goodness we are not actively doing this. Right, record keeping. Yes, we have a procedure. It's procedure 61. These are the reams and boxes of paper that you guys are storing. We retain that information. Yes, we do. That's procedure 62. Do we keep our records in electronic format? Yes, we do. If 10.3 is yes, do we make use of a service provider to store such records? Yes, you do. Use Quick Draw. 106 is yes. That's procedure 63. Registers, not applicable. 1.23. We do maintain a register in terms of 60.2. The answer to that is yes. Right, statutory reporting. Did the annual disbursements of the credit provider exceed 15 million? We're going to say no. But just check those stores where there are multiple branches in the same legal entity. We must just check if your disbursements are greater than 15 million. So in other words, that's the loans you've made for cash advances and PDAs. And that comes in terms of the reporting, that's the Form 39. I think Alan falls into this category where we need to do, Kerry, you do your quarterly reporting. So that's the only difference is for Form 39, you don't do it annually, you have to do it every quarter. So I don't think anybody other than Alan's in that position. So the answer is not applicable. 1.24, other than you, Kerry, you'll have to say yes, and you'll have to say you have to, and you will then have submitted your Form 39 correctly. Answer to 1.13, you have submitted your Form, and I'm assuming here, guys, so you're saying yes if you have submitted your Form 39, which I'm assuming you have. We're saying yes to this one because by the time we submit it, it will be within the 6 months. This is the annual financial statements that have to be submitted by the end of next month. Likewise, Form 40, we're saying yes, that will be done. And likewise, we're saying yes, the assurance report will be done. Remember, the assurance report gets done by your accounting officer or your auditor. So if you're with True Accounting, that will all be dealt with by Rowan. If you're not with True Accounting, you need to get your auditor accountant to do that assurance report. And they would have done it in the past if you had them last year. So that's important to meet the requirements of the assurance report. Now it's interesting, they ask you this question, but you can't get your assurance report until you fill this question in. So it's like a circular question. We won't question them on that. Compliance assurance, we've got annexure number 5. Annexure number 5, which we will, I think we submit annexure number 5. If we do, Liz will submit it for you. Sorry? Yeah. Sorry, yes, just put 5 in that block there, in that column for annexure. Annexure number 1. Annexure number 5 for 12.1. Right, so the annexures, we'll write this here. See annexure 1 for question for question number, and it's annexure number 1. That's for 1.9, annexure 2. 5.1 is annexure 3. 12.1 is annexure 5. Sorry, I'll leave it there. And so these are the annexures we submit. Annexure 1, 2, 3, and 5, not 4. Because the questions, on those questions, there are like a whole lot of them. So it was too many to list here. So just say, for question C, annexure 1, and then the annexure number is annexure 1. It'll take a little bit of time to write. Okay, everybody got that? So in other words, we're just referencing the question numbers back to the annexures. And for annexure 1, there's so many questions, we've referenced it on the actual annexure. Yes, we don't submit that one. That is when I can't remember what's annexure for. Just quickly.
Use it for our record purposes.
We use it for, it's an internal document. I think it's where we've noted non-compliance. Where we've noted non-compliance, we note it there, and it's not a requirement to submit it, funny enough. You just have to have it as an internal document. It should be in the pack, yep. And I think that's it in terms of the compliance report. We're doing well, guys. Right, so let's look at the document submission summary. Guideline 2, which is the compliance report we submit. Annexure 1, schedule of non-applicable answers will be submitted. Annexure 2, which is our combating of over-indebtedness progress report, gets submitted. Annexure 3, which is our actual policy, gets submitted. And Annexure 4 does not get submitted. Annexure 5 is a monitoring annexure in terms of our compliance assurance. The compliance management plan, which we reference as CC-NCA 001, we do not submit. And what happens here is, if they come back to us with issues, to say, we've noted that you haven't submitted your language policy, it then gets put on your compliance management plan, and we just manage it. It's one of those, we just manage the process internally. But those issues will go onto that plan if the NCR comes back with queries. I think, practically speaking, what happens is, remember, we submit a whole whack of documents to the NCR in one go. My sense is they'll take a couple of those and go through them and review them, and on a random basis check some of them. It's in there are 10,000 registered credit providers plus. They're not going to go through every single one, I do not believe. So on a random basis, they'll probably check it. And when they come up, we'll deal with each one on a one-on-one basis. Who had issues last year? Who had queries back from the NCR? Anyone here? That was the language policy. Yeah, that was the language policy issue. What I think also, what we're trying to achieve, with the NCR, is to say, give us one point of contact. Give us one person who will deal with the whole cash converters brand. Because poor Mzor will tell you he deals with how many people? He's shaking his head.
It depends on how many they want, because every single client has a different person. And that person goes on leave, and then will only respond to a query you thought was solved. 2 months later, they'll come back and say, no, you're missing that. So it's, yeah.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. We're very pleased to have Mzor on board. I mean, we deregistered, CCSA registered as a credit provider about 8 years ago. We applied for deregistration in 2012. We applied for deregistration in 2012. We got sent our deregistration letter 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. Okay. So it's still, there is still a bit of chaos there.
Just want to mention that they've now aligned the year for everybody.
Yes.
Yes. Another frustration was the anniversary of your register. You registered and were registered on a particular day, which could have been any day throughout the year. And a lot of these reports and references made to the anniversary of the date of your registration. And you can imagine the chaos at the NCR. You could have 365 theoretical registration days. So what they've done now is, and they phased it in over last year, there was also chaos. In that handover period, it was chaos. But the anniversary now for everybody is the 31st of July, which makes complete and total sense. It doesn't matter when you register, your renewal, your anniversary of your registration will be the 31st of July the next year, which makes complete sense. So we can now diarize that the anniversary date you have to make your payment for your fees for the next year. And remember, that is based on your Form 39 submission. So we can now diarize 31 July. Everybody, stick it in your diaries, and True Accounting and Ops will be on you to make sure you've done your renewal by the 31st of July. It just makes complete sense.
But please note a little bit that this year it's a bit of a mess because this is the first time they've done it. So the 31st of July is next week Monday, but they haven't sent everybody their invoices yet. So they know this problem. The ones I've received, I'm going to be contacting you guys on an individual basis, but NCR themselves have not sent all the bills to everybody as yet.
We work it out beforehand, we know what we get. We should know.
Yes. The most important thing is to make sure you pay the bloody thing. It's just pay it. And even if you're not quite sure what it is, pay extra. Pay extra. just pay the damn thing. Because for those of you who haven't registered recently, to register for the NCR now, the additional requirements are police clearance. For that, we've got to do the fingerprint story. Tax clearance. That's new. Tax clearance. Police clearance, tax clearance, what are the new ones? The bank account. Confirmation of bank account. Your VAT registration. Your share certificate. So they've made it a lot more onerous to register as a credit provider. Not onerous, but the documentation they require is a lot more. You don't want to go through that again, guys. You don't want to go through it. Dated today. Yes, please. Date today, guys. So that's your compliance management report. Do not submit. Conditions of registration. You should have this on file somewhere, guys. You should have your conditions of registration on file in your blue file somewhere. Compliance to the industry codes for BEE. This is the problem one. We have not done a progress report. We haven't done a progress report because effectively there is no progress because we don't know what to progress to at this particular point in time. And remember the history of this. This has been the strategy we followed for the last 7 years. Until such time as we're given guidance, we're going to continue in the way we're doing it. But last year they started asking for the actual verification certificates. I really do believe in the scope of what the NCR is dealing with at the moment. This is one of the lowest priorities they have at this particular point in time. I think it's a very low priority in their lives. They've got huge other issues, and there's no, they haven't come up with any progress. The liquor industry have, I think, tourism, mining, electrical distribution. All of those industries have come up with clear guidelines of this is what we need to aspire to. So in our opinion, until we know what the game plan is, there is no point in trying to do anything, because we'd rather start recording progress as far into the future as possible. So just so that we understand what that strategy is. Okay. CCNCA 004 is a report on measures aimed at debt counseling, prevention of indebtedness, not to be submitted. And we haven't actually, no one's ever asked about this on the anniversary of registration, but we just submit it when we submit our pack in there. It's CCNCA 004, and then the BE certificate. For those of you that are over the threshold, it is going to cost money. Engela will be talking to one of the verification agencies. And guys, if we actually have to do a proper verification, if we get to the stage where we have to submit a progress report and we now have to start achieving certain goals, that verification certificate process is probably going to cost twice what your annual audit fee is. It's a hell of a thing. I think last time we had 8,000 to 10,000 rand if you do a full-on BE verification certificate in terms of achieving progress, which is crazy. So we want to keep that for as long as possible. Just ridiculous costs. In terms of the pack, we've got our lending procedures. We definitely do not submit this with our compliance report. The language proposal we do not submit, and the acceptance of the language proposal we do not submit. But some of you, they will come back and say, where is your language approval, and we'll submit that to them when they request. How many of you ever had a request for an agreement, either cash advance or PDA in anything other than English? Anybody? I'm dying to. We've done it in 8 languages. And I'd love to know if we've ever done one in anything other than English. I think we had one in the Western Cape and Afrikaans. So, eh? Add with PDA. Oh, that's good. Good. Okay. 012 we don't submit, and 13 we don't submit. So that's it. 40 minutes. Not bad. Are you guys happy with the process?
Can I have them back here?
Okay, guys, please, if you can just take time, go through it, make sure it's all correct. Give it to Muzor and make sure Muzor ticks it off, and then he will prepare the annexures and he will do the bulk submission. And then he'll keep on record, on file, all the submissions when they were done. We actually get the NCR to sign on behalf of the NCR for all of those forms. Okay.
Well
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Good morning.
The director. On our side, it's them who just
Yes, license directeur. Loan heb die directeur tekenen. Ek kom hier van hierdie pad. Dit raai een bladsy voor een
Otherwise, I'll blame you. Sitting there watching it.
What Bedwork is going to have to be signed again. That last page, the director has to sign it. The Tinus is going to have to sign it. So Tinus can only take it. But Alberton and
You can give him this. Just sign the last page and email it to
Tinus.
Cool. And
Okay, thank you very much. Engela, dank je. Dank je.
all right, you have a nice day. Regrets separate. Relative small regrets. I noted that thing. I'm good at you. This is yours. Yeah. What means all right.
Just scan copies.
Your road is longer than mine. I did.
Yeah, then. This is what we here. This is what it was.
Yes,
Yeah, as 5.
These are
These should
Yeah, you
Yeah, please.
So, what must they do now? Please asking if she must just wait for the invoice.
I'll give them an answer because the invoices are coming up, and I'll give you an answer before Friday. All right, do it.
It's for the financial. 1 month.
No, that's fine.
Thank you, very efficient, well done. Michael, a lot easier.
Good one.
Oh, wow, lucky letter on your letter C. So we haven't met. Hello, Morris from Midrand, how are you doing? Good, and thanks for doing what you're doing here.
All right. More at the Queenswood. My cues here. Oh, powerful pop. Just more than that. Powerful pop. They'll give it to me. That's Alan. Strand. Centurion. That's Alan. What else do they have? Compton. Alan. What else do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4. What else do I have? Balfour. I have Centurion, Strand, Mainland. That's Alan. Okay, let's see the bit up. Who is here? Which one?
Which one? I don't know. There was a lot of them. I'm going through my emails.
Okay, I'll check.
Als jullie anders sturen, dan weet je. Ja, eigenlijk. Ja. We did basically a course of franchisees. Ja, maar anders kan je dat hier post van die franchisee of ze een tijdstop. Oh ja. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you. Did you guys sign the financials?
I didn't sign Rob Jane though from Rowan. No.
Yeah. I just need the director's report for you guys to sign it. Because we need to submit it with, so you guys need
Together
to.
with this.
Yeah, so you might extra, you have to go through it and see if you're happy with it. If you have to change it, even after you submit it to the bank, it's fine.
Let's send it back to you.
Yeah, just go through it and make sure you're happy. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, please, please. Just that
Was I
one,
send it to you?
yeah, the director's report, it's all under one
I'll do it
place.
for
Okay,
you.
cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello. Hi again.
For England.
How are you doing? So I've been available in getting up.
Yeah, on the paper.
Everybody except Novo, they're gonna have to down.
People who weren't here,
Getting very specific.
Three Rivers.
I'm just worried about their signature. When do we need to submit? Because one of them has to sign.
How long is the off period? When are they back? When is Dan?
Dan is getting back only next week. So
Next week,
remember,
but
he's
it's
the
fine.
best man. Yes, they
No,
went together.
no, it's fine. Just make sure he's back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wedding.
Yeah.
Person who went to the wedding.
Yeah.
Where's Melvin? Melvin.
And then I don't know why JP was not here.
From? Where you from?
Nina Park.
Why wasn't
Yeah,
there?
I don't know.
Three Rivers wasn't here?
Three
Salford
Rivers, are
isn't
they
here?
here already?
No, it doesn't. As
No.
long as there were 3 months. As long as, yeah.
I don't think we're getting
No.
financial statements for them.
No.
They were in December. They registered in December. So we're not going to do financial.
No, because you've got financial statements.
As far as we know, or we were told, is the stores that are not trading a year, that are not all the stores that were trading a year.
What is that?
But they need to sign them. They need to sign
I've
them.
already sent them a mail to send me the last time. It says, I receive it, I'll forward it to you.
So it's identical.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, so what I need to, where was it?
Sure.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
They need
yeah, I
to
can
complete
forward
name
it.
of credit provider, that will be with other.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you need your
Okay.
NCR registration number.
Which one is on
That's on your pen. On those.
Actually, another one. So it's get an award in 5 more. I get feces mentioned, I let my in 'n survey. Mense vra, weet julle ons is hier? En weet julle wat? En ons het in die mall begin en 18 winkels wat ons van meer gesels het. Net vir mense na jaar en 'n half. En elke keer as ek so gaan vir die laaste jaar en 'n half, sê ek vir mense no buite. Nee, mense weet. Alle môre almal praat. So 22% van mense actually.
So Grail will say the same thing, 3 months.
Yeah, it was the
Grail and Three Rivers on here.
No, like,
Sorry, I'm
I think the corners of the book,
that's fine. There's any issues, hulle put your price slap. That's fine. Just give me number
They don't have any. But they only want to. I need to actually call them.
Just don't keep on if I were you.
Because I can't keep coming back and
I get no claim today.
So, yeah.
Thank you
very much.
Just changed this entity. Sorry, Mr. We just changed the name of it. No, we've done that. We just changed the mark. Yeah. Exactly. So I'll send you the. Should I send you the subsidy? Yeah. All right. All right. I'm leaving yet to go and put on a mask.
Are you gonna reach the new?
Yeah, it's gonna be right off.
You want us to do it?
No, we put our council. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, this is my office. We're going to head off. We're going to head off. Yes. Thank you. Sit down. Wherever the closest ATM is. And when they fill them up, please. You just give me that. If you see a car speeding up. No, you know, it's one of the first stores we looked at. Sniffed around. Maybe 7 I've never had a headache. Like, I used to go, I'm not exaggerating.
We know exactly what you
I literally left. And then we were escaping, and he said, right, let's go to the Noni. I went, oh my God. And I literally, on the way home, I stopped and got a bottle of water. Just like, I had a dull headache. So we looked at them, and then springs, some. And then all that time we were kind of speaking to the like, thanks, guys. Hello, Rob. How are you doing? Okay, yourself? Tuesday, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You don't have this in KFC, do you? Hey? You don't land up chicken. No.
That compliance, yeah.
And then both, and then Rob and Chris love it. I've only been to once, but Rob really has got a good feel. So I'm the bitch in the back that does all the admin, thanks and application form. Yeah, Rob just drafted. He's like, Rob's just we're both like, I'm like the true accounts. I can't even keep up. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's we'll put Chris in there as soon as we can. Yeah. Just try to cobweb skeletons, summarize.
Yeah, and we've done stock taking.
Oh, have you? When was that?
Done like 3 of them, haven't you?
Then
Cancel this one. Done 3 months in a row.
Why was that just from? No, this is why would you have done 3 in a row just Sure. The variances.
So I can
No, I can just imagine. Just Neil, just to say, nice to see. I can just imagine. I mean, when I went there, he was pulling swords out of the cupboard. There's a pink slip. So, just And then just do policies and procedures. And then we, the removals, cash converters within that cash converters. So yeah, he does that. I think he's got 4 businesses in one. No.
That's why we say excited.
I said to Richard, I just.
well,
Why people would that? If they don't use you guys, then they're trying to find something. No, they are, because you know each other can't speak, but it's not for any other reason, it's just terrible. And that retirement, I really like that. That's cool. Who are you going to go to? Oh, is it? Look, if had a bit of a up. Yeah, that's right. If you need any help with that, I know the CEO of the CEO very well, so I called Dave Monroe. The easiest steps that he's going to fix it. So, no, honestly, I mean, you're banging.
Customers.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, Dave will give you someone. No, I think it's a great. idea. Yeah, no, it's a really good. I like it. Very nice. Good for staff retention and. Yeah, but for people, when you want to, these businesses are human capital, so you need to. Yeah. So we okay NCR, paid and all that. Compliant. Okay. Because I know we were talking.
Yes, but
yeah.
What I'm gonna check the basis with the name changes.
Please, yeah. Should I send you all the subsidy?
If you send it to one of us, we'll all have
compliance. Sure. Okay. All right. I'll do that.
I think I sent the one
to you. Okay. What was that? Sorry.
What happened before you want to change the direction?
Correct. Perfect. Okay.
I'll get back to you.
So I'll send that to you this afternoon, and you can just.
100%.
No, it's fine now, but he's such a naughty boy. No, but his came up already. Or fine or something. Yeah? Look like that. Never a dull moment. Yeah. Well, I used to have an afro. Right.
Sorry,
was never coming.
They said they're gonna do it now, but I only said but he's gonna do his own stuff. Oh, they are there.
I remember being told that we do our own thing when I called for renewal. Great hours, 3 months, so we need to check if they even do. Kensington will email
Well, you're gonna have to submit. Yes, financial statements.
So he has.
Yeah.
And then I need to check with him.
Yes.
Why was it not here?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean?
Yeah. You will have that for Friday. Palaborwa and Morikole and Housebreak. You will have for Friday.
So Nathaniel took it.
Yeah, he will.
I'll check with Zanetta because she was training it online.
Yeah.
He's the only one that responded, but when you checked at the bottom, it said 17 people are watching. Yeah, I saw on the left-hand side. Because he's the only one that responded and said, and on the left-hand side, it was showing how many people were online.
Yeah, but
So yeah, we have.
now actually while we're submitting in school, they don't have financial statements. We're never gonna have financial statements. One of them will be registered. It's gonna be like Ms. said, NCR hasn't picked up on it.
Yes.
Then that's a minimum
Because we're not complaining.
Yeah, and just keep Brian and information. It's always short. Yeah, stop that.
She posted the video for her side with the stuff that she was supposed to be for.
Yeah, yeah. Just what is it?
It's fine.
Well, that's the information.
This same philosophy is.
I'll just.
Yeah.
And remember the way, hey? They had to re-register for NCR. And it happened. Thank you.
I'll send that to you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else? Sorry, did everyone come? Friday. Stores for Europe or try.
No.
Another 14.
The 14.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, I was aware because
Walter said he wasn't away and then.
Pretty much everyone.
yeah, it's the hours. You can eat any other one. Dude, I'm saying you can do any other one.
Maybe keep me for now. Now I can do. I'll pop in after work on my way home so that you can find one of these. Yeah. Otherwise, we're never gonna go.
We have a stock take then.
When do you have stock take?
I have no idea.
Well, I think it's
So from.
Yeah, you really enjoyed it. Yeah. But we'll see you Monday. My diary. Tuesday. No. I'll give you another company. Near the Iris. That's my other role. So it's lovely to meet you. Eh? Take care, eh? Bye.
Nice to
Ain't gonna
see you.
use long.
Take care.
Take care.
Good luck
Thanks.
with
Cheers,
that.
Eden. Yeah, we'll bye. Cheers, bye. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we've got
nice
a
to
few weeks to go. I'll maybe give you a first of September. Yeah. Yeah. If you've got any horror stories to. No. Send them with my productions. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Oh, I'll talk to you.
See you later. Cheers.
No, I do. Yeah. I was saying to you.
I'm sure people will appreciate I need to. We've been capturing. Zane's time we did about 8 to 10 months. Is that still around?
Well, I'm gonna have to go and look, but I don't think, I don't know, I'm gonna have to go back in our archive.
So theoretically, up until 28. Outside, that suspense again.
Hallo? Oi, okay. Wat ik maar rond dan. Anders, I listen to.
All right, I'm just waiting to get some clarification on what we discussed. In the meantime, I'm busy calculating the spreadsheet that I gave me because the back end of it is going to be calculated on boards and a whole lot of other stuff that comes out of the system.
I want to be like you.
And then we need to put that.
I want to be also.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just Mr. George, go well. Take care, we'll see you soon.
Yes,
sir.
Kan je ook van mij door?
Ja.
This is this one. Okay, but I'm not gonna give you this because you need to sign it.
Yes, sign it.
And you're gonna do all the other things. Go ahead and keep.
All right.
Another empty one, sorry. This is all. Kan jij het worden met goed? Ja.
Yeah.
Ja, dat is okay.
Everything getting better there.
I haven't seen his head but well, he came down more than that, and probably he's keeping up.
Commitment. I have no idea.
Then I'll get a Lila Park and.
Let me give you their things.
I don't know what.
Melville,
Yeah.
this is for when you see the store, Lena Park. They need these, so whenever you go there, they need it for their files.
Yeah. I know they made it to the house.
And she has
No.
Checking it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said it takes time. At the beginning, when I sent out those invites, do the other fantastic media, I said, no, even if it's just you, so you can find. Is he the director in the company? Yes. No, he's not. Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's got everything.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, then you can find. I'll get him to sign it on it. And let me know when your next one is, and we can go see them. Maybe the trip for the July accounts will be out first. Yeah, it will probably July. Let's make it some time in August. Yeah. I have no idea what the date is. I don't know. Whenever that is. Okay, cool.
Ja, wat voor het?
Yeah, that's
Everything goes back.
Well, okay.
And this is not.
Walk on drive.
But everything, and the paint is not. Het is Engeland mouse.
They came out the venue.
Nou.
The pens.
Yes, why that?
Just.
Just go home.
Yeah. Yeah. No. What's the So they keep them out of the yeah. Yes. I'm sitting in the wrong time from top of. I think I've had him as well.
The